And also this week, the residents of Ukraine's Krivyi Rih experienced real horror. At least 15 explosions thundered in the city of Dnipropetrovsk region. The enemy massively attacked with shaheds. According to preliminary information, thank God, there were no casualties. However, the destruction is significant.
Since early morning, emergency repair work has been ongoing at the impact site. Volunteers from a charitable organization are distributing necessary materials to people from destroyed apartments and houses for urgent repairs. The main priority at the moment is to cover windows and roofs from the wind and rain. According to the city council, the blast wave shattered more than 4,000 windows. In total, more than 50 apartment buildings, 36 private houses, as well as 3 schools, a kindergarten, hospitals, and several enterprises were affected in the impact zone. The post office, a store, a service station, and in addition, communications have been disrupted. 7 houses are still without gas and another 7 without water. At the moment, utility workers are trying to repair the networks, while residents of the affected houses are covering windows and roofs with film and boards.
We have absolutely nothing on mine. We have absolutely nothing. My husband was all cut up, back, head, arms, all covered in blood. Well, the windows were blown out, all the glass, everything is sticking out of the walls, no flowers left, absolutely nothing.
There are 14 adults and 16 children in the hospitals. According to the doctors, 3 of the injured are in very serious condition. These are 3 men. They are in intensive care with severe penetrating wounds, fractures, head and abdominal injuries. 1 child is in serious but stable condition. Doctors report a trend towards improvement. Among the 23 injured children, there are no life-threatening conditions. I would add that there could have been many more injured, including among students and preschoolers. After all, the missile hit near the school and not a single window remained intact. Casualties at the institution were avoided, only because education in all the city's institutions takes place exclusively in shelters.
And now we move to the Novopavlovsk and Gulyapol directions of the Russian world front. Here it continues to destroy, kill, and maim. In the Novopavlovsk direction, our defenders are repelling 13 enemy attacks in the areas of the settlements of Konstantinopol, Razliv, Dntesho, Botasen, Intech, Bueta, Skudnoye, Ohudoi, Dneproenergia, and Burlatskoye. In the Gulyapol direction, the aggressor carried out 8 assault actions in the areas of the settlements. Privolnoye, Novoselka, and towards the open field. Airstrikes hit the settlements of Shevchenko, Novodarovka, Novopol, and Gulyapol.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
And now the topic we announced at the very beginning. So, the Ukrainian cruise missile Long Neptune with a range of up to 1,000 kilometers struck the oil complex in Tuapse. The arrival was not only spectacular, but also very effective. But the most important thing is something else. This was the second, not the first instance of using the modernized version of Neptune. This was reported by the Minister for Strategic Industries of Ukraine, Herman Smetanin. According to him, the first time Long Neptune attacked a military target of the occupiers in Crimea, which specific target it was has not yet been specified. Only one thing is clear. Long Neptune has gone on the hunt, and for the enemy it will be very, very painful. All the details in our next report. An explosive night in Moscow's Krasnodar region. Oh my. The video shows fuel tanks exploding at a Russian oil refinery in Tuapse, about 1,000 kilometers from the front line.
We are arriving at Tuapse station. For 3 consecutive days, the Russian oil refinery has been continuously burning. At this time, President Zelensky announces the successful use of the extended Neptune at an impressive distance of 1,000 kilometers for domestic missile engineering. Such a system was made by Ukrainian enterprises. This is a national product.
In January 2022, the director of the design bureau, Luch, Oleg Korostelev, speaks about the successes of military designers against the backdrop of the anti-ship missile Neptune. Among them is the anti-ship missile, which went on combat duty back in 2020. The Ukrainian Neptune, with a warhead of 150 kilo and a flight range of 300 kilometers, is capable of locating and striking enemy ships of various classes. The first target of Neptune was the Russian frigate Admiral Essen and several other enemy ships. Neptune reached the peak of its glory in April 2022 when it struck the Russian cruiser Moskva with 2 missiles, forcing the occupiers' Black Sea Fleet to hide in the docks.
Due to the presence, we don't have...
Precisely because of the presence of Neptune with us, the Russians did not attempt a naval landing on Odessa in 2022. If you have anti-ship missiles, it's not worth the risk.
During the full-scale war, our designers managed to develop a new modification of the Neptune that works against ground targets with a new guidance system, an increased warhead of up to 350 kilograms and a range of up to 1,000 kilometers. In 2024, the Ukrainian surface-to-surface cruise missile is regularly mentioned in reports about the destruction of enemy targets, ammunition depots on Russian territory and occupied areas, oil terminals, ferry crossings, and military factories. However, the shortage of foreign long-range weapons and delays in permissions to strike deep into Russian territory are forcing missile developers to extend the Neptune.
The anti-ship missile uses the MS-400 engine. Currently, there is also ongoing modernization to equip it with the MS-430 engine. And accordingly, to increase the range of this missile to about 1,000 kilometers.
In the context of war, the developers of the Neptune maintain heightened secrecy and do not provide any comments, as the Russians are constantly shelling likely locations of the Ukrainian missile production facilities. Before the full-scale war, Russian intelligence services actively hunted for the technical documentation of the Ukrainian missile complex. In 2020, Ukrainian counterintelligence agents detained a spy recruited by the FSB. Pushkin, all right. Currently, they are trying to learn as much as possible about the production of the Ukrainian missile. Military experts predict that Ukraine is capable of producing several dozen Neptunes monthly. Although their quantity heavily depends on imported components, scaling up the production of long-range weapons could significantly impact the course of the war.
Theoretically, they can also be used against airfields. And against command system bases, meaning various headquarters, this is the logistics base. This means the enemy will either have to move these elements further from the front, which will require moving a lot, meaning far away.
The modernized Neptune, along with other Ukrainian developments, Trembita, the Peklo drone missile, and strike drones could significantly weaken the Russian military-industrial complex this year. And the main advantage is that Ukraine does not need permission or coordination from Western partners to use its own long-range weapons. Therefore, the hellish chaos in Russia will only increase over time.
That's all for today, but very soon on the Front News program. New, unique materials from our journalists from the hottest spots of the war, obtained so that you know the truth. This was Vladek Timoshenko with you. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.